Welcome back to the channel. So I've been thinking today, and I want to share my thoughts. What will the world look like tomorrow? And when I say tomorrow, of course, I just mean in the future, in the days ahead. However long that lasts, what are things actually going to look like? And I'm not foretelling the future. I'm not looking into the future. I don't have that ability. I don't believe anyone has that ability. Um, what I'm saying is, I'm reading the tea leaves. I know how the world works now. I know the trajectory, and it's inevitable, basically, where things are going. So if you're looking for an uplifting video that's going to tell you that everything's going to get better and there's going to be this massive fix and the world's going to improve and there's going to be a savior from this earth, a human savior who fixes everything, it's not for you. But if you want to know the flat out truth of what the world is really like, then stick around because I'm going to give you my opinion on it. I think it's almost inevitable, like I said. So what is the future going to look like? Based on what we see today around us, the plain truth is the future tomorrow, it's going to look like today, but worse. And I mean that in every possible way. So let's think about this categorically. Relationships, men and women, friendships, familial relationships, but let's just talk about for a minute relationships between men and women, marriages, people who are engaged together, whatever you want to say. It's an abject disaster today. I don't think that's a mystery to anybody. And if it is, God bless you. You're probably one of those people who met one of those rare gem right people a long time ago, and it's just worked for you, and that's wonderful. But I want you to know that is far and away the exception to the rule today. That's not the way it works for most people. Not even close, matter of fact. And a lot of you guys who watch my channel regularly, who've been through narcissistic abuse as I have, you understand that's not how it usually works. Instead, you're more likely to meet one of those things, or just a bad person, because they're not the same thing. Relationships, they seldom work. And even those people, make no mistake about this, guys, those many of the people today who are married, who are together, who have seemingly made it work and stood the test of time, the truth is, if you actually knew what that relationship was like behind closed doors on the regular, you would be stunned. It might look like a business partnership. They're just ships passing in the night. They're together for finances or they're together just for kids. And I'm not saying I'm not saying these are bad reasons. And at least when you put things together, but usually this alone keeps people together. It's not love. It's not a compatible relationship. It's not that they just love each other's company and they really have an authentic reciprocal relationship. That's not true most of the time. Let's set, for the sake of this video, those things I discussed, those people who have a really good, authentic, lasting, loving relationship on the shelf for a second, because that's very, very unusual today. Extremely unusual. So setting those on the shelf, most people don't get along very well. They're just eking by. They're making it work, kind of. They're still together because they've got kids to raise, or they've got their finances completely wrapped up together, or because they've just been together so long, they don't think they can get somebody else, or it's just what they know. It's all they know. They don't want to start over again. They're too old. Whatever it is, I'm telling you that there's an illusion that we think just because people are together or they're together for a long time, that that must be a really good relationship. It's not. Most of the time, it's not. At best, it's probably meh. It's not what it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's not what God created this to be. But that's how it is usually today. And that's just the people who stay together or are seemingly making it work. Most people don't. We live in a society where giving up on relationships is just effortless. It's never been easier. And there's 1,000 reasons for this. Society promotes divorce. Society primarily, for whatever the reason, applauds women who divorce. And women are divorcing men 4 out of 5 times, at a clip of 4 out of 5 times. That will get worse. Watch it. As it goes on, that will get higher. This isn't, and this is not to throw shade. I'm going to talk about men and women both. It's not to throw shade. It's the truth. Go look it up. Don't believe me. But they applaud people who divorce. They not only condone it, they not only accept it, but they often support it. If you're not happy, just move on. Find someone who makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. And that's actually the number one cause for divorce today is unhappiness. Anybody can become unhappy at any time. Most people who divorce because they're unhappy are unhappy in themselves, and nobody's going to fix that. It's the ultimate cop-out, the ultimate excuse, or irreconcilable differences. I heard both. No valid reason. Most people aren't divorcing because plenty of this happens, but most aren't divorcing because it's cheating, infidelity, physical abuse. Again, all this stuff happens in large numbers as well. But oftentimes, the most common excuse today is unhappy. Unbelievable. So we know that around 50% plus of marriages are ending in divorce. It's been that way for a long time. But we also know that only about 10 or so percent of married couples have what they would consider to be a happy, loving relationship. So guys, just right there, think about what percentage of individuals are in a good relationship. What percentage is it actually? It's very, very low. We have an epidemic of single, lonely people. Relationships are never going to go back either. That is never going to change. That will get worse. I guarantee you it will get worse. And one of the major contributors is, yes, just a total lack of morality, total lack of dedication to the Lord, culture that is trash, but also the unlimited options of dating sites, social media, texting. Any person at any given time can have all kind of people in their phone. And so, therefore, that insatiable quest to find the best, the best, the best, the best, the best, that in the back of your mind, many people today think, can I do better? Can I do better? But can I do better? But what's on the dating app now? But who might I meet? This person I'm with, yeah, they're great, but I don't know who I might meet. I don't know who just got on the dating app, who's going to inbox me, who's going to reach out to me. What about an ex I used to know? Is this person really better than the ex was? These are the games we play today, and the smartphone enables most of it. The smartphone enables most of it, which is the ultimate handheld conduit to the internet. So relationships, divorce, quality of relationships, is that going to improve? No possible way. Because none of the things that has made it so bad are going to go away. Those things are going to get worse. Godlessness, which really just means adherence to the God of this world, Satan, and rejection of the real Lord, Christ, that's going to get worse. The fabric of society will get worse. Adherence to a system of morality will get worse. The ability to find other people will get worse. And I'll talk about one that's far more troubling than this at the end here with relationships. So that's not going to improve. As a result, what about families and the quality of individuals that are being raised in the next generation and the one after and after? Is that going to improve? No, it can't. Because the fabric of reality is the male-female relationship, the quality of that relationship, that governs how you also raise your children and what kind of people they become in a lot of ways. Yes, everyone has their choices, no doubt. But if you have a good relationship between the couple and they're raising kids, there's an infinitely better chance the kids are going to be in good shape. Today, most kids are the product of divorce. They have men or women in and out of their lives. They're not getting quality parenting. They're not getting any kind of biblical education. They're not getting morality discussed with them. They're not being set up for success. Instead, they're being stuffed full of garbage food, put in front of a TV, put in front of the internet, given a phone, and said, go play. with your phone. That's parenting today in a lot of ways, in a lot of instances. That's not going to bode well. That's why we've seen successive generations, especially of late, get worse and worse and worse. People today, for those of you who watch this channel that are older, let me tell you this. People today, because I'm 40, people who are about 45 years old and under, I have no words to tell you how bad it is. I know for everybody throughout history has said, "Oh, this generation's worse. Oh, this generation." Let me tell you, it's not close today. What what society, the cell phone, the smartphone, internet, dating apps, social media, all of these things have done to those who are about 45 and under. And I say 45 and under because that's really when that whole thing seriously took root. The whole internet explosion, social media, cell phones, that's really about when it took root. Those people, roughly 45-ish and under, it's a train wreck. It's unrecognizable from what humanity's supposed to be. Is that going to improve? No. And those people now have kids, and they're worse off than they are. Imagine those people raising kids and trying to instill values and laughable. What also happens? So families, quality of people, children, no, that's not getting put back in the box. Nothing is going to get put back in the box. That's really the whole point of this video if you want to look at it that way. Another thing, people's love will continue to grow cold. There will continue to be an increase in wickedness. Jesus told us full well in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. There will be an increase in rebelliousness and wickedness and disrespectful behavior. I can't believe, guys, the how disrespectful most people are today and how highly entitled they are. And those things go hand in hand. Really entitled people, which is most today, they are very disrespectful people because they think the world owes them everything. The things they'll tell that most people will say to a stranger or to even a loved one, I can't wrap my mind around it. You couldn't care any less about people the way that people behave today. So more strife and division, politically, of course, which politically this whole thing is a big game. I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you think that it's this thing where it's right and left, red and blue versus each other, and one of them's good and one of them's evil, and they're in this tug of war, that's not the truth. There is a good versus evil battle, but that's in the heavenly realms. That whole red versus blue, right versus left thing, and yes, there are right answers to social issues and right positions, and truth is truth. But that idea that it's right and left tug of war, that's an illusion. That's a deception put in place by the devil. That creates division. That stirs people up. That makes a good and an evil, an us versus them mentality. And what happens is through this chaos that's created, then the elites and then the powers in the heavenly realm come in and clean up and shape a world that they want to see. It's order from chaos. So that's going to get worse. You think people are suddenly going to start getting along? There's not going to be this radical political division. Do you think any of that's going to happen? If you do, why? Drop comments below. I'd love for someone to tell me how that's going to change, how anything I'm talking about is going to improve. No, you have more bitterness. You have more people with a cold, stone heart. They have no compassion, no true love for anybody. Just as Jesus said, and it's how it is now. Think about what's going to be tomorrow. More of the same, but worse. And Jesus described when he said the love of many will grow cold, the words he uses, it describes like a cold air, a frost that blows across the earth, this bitter chill of how people behave and how they feel about others. You can sense it out there today, can you not? That's going to get way worse. So what do we expect to see? More people's love growing cold, more hate, more division, more strife, more wickedness, rebelliousness, and disrespect. And I'll stop right now, and you think, well, he's a doomer. He's doom and gloom. No, I'm telling you the truth. I don't look at things with rose-colored glasses. I couldn't, in good conscience, come on here and tell you, oh yeah, this is all going to get better. There's going to be this great big reformation, and everyone's going to come around, and the world's going to improve. That's a fairy tale. It's not the truth, and it's not what Scripture portrays. It's not what Jesus said or the apostles. That's not the world. It's not the world we live in. It's obvious. It's not the world we're going to live in the future. So what I do is I look at things objectively, not too pessimistic, not undeservedly pessimistic, but not with rose-colored glasses. As honest as I can be. What else is going to increase? Well, along with what I just said, guess what? Narcissism. Narcissists run the world. Satan is the chief narcissist. His little minions, carbon copies, they run this world too. They run politics, they run big business, they run global empires. They run everything. That's not going to change. That's going to get worse. This is what Paul described in 2 Timothy 3, 1-5, and even a little onward. He describes that people's love grows cold. As Jesus, not in the same words, but that's what he describes. People are godless and wicked and rebellious, haters of parents, lovers of money, boastful, puffed up, on and on and on. Well, how bad is that today? I have said consistently, I think about 15 to 20% of the world's population are hardcore down the road reprobate narcissists. That's not even including all the people who live in that narcissistic spectrum that are terrible to deal with. It's not just me either. Dr. Romani, she's not coming at this from the same perspective that I am, and she's telling you the same thing. 15, 20% of people are hardcore narcissists. Do you think that's going to improve? With the society we have, with the access that people have to abuse and use others, that's not going to it's not going to look any different tomorrow. Not going to look better. So narcissists will continue to thrive. They will continue to come out of the woodworks like cockroaches, and there'll be more and more. Every generation now, the ones before us that are younger, they are getting reared with a cell phone stuffed in their face. People are disposable. Nothing is good enough. Highly entitled. Don't need to work for anything. Those are all the hallmark traits of a narcissist. So right now, as we speak, that generation, that's about 45 and under of people, covering a couple different types, Gen X and whatever you want to call them, millennials, those groups are going to create more and more narcissists. And I don't know if it's Gen X. I get them confused. I know I was a millennial. But whatever you want to call them, 45 and under, that is a group right now creating more and more narcissists as we speak. Right now, as time ticks by, narcissists are being made. It's going to get worse. You already can't go out there and find a person virtually ever that's not highly narcissistic, that's not already talking to 15 people, dating 2 or 3, views you as disposable, is disrespectful. You already can't do that. More or less, you can't do that. What do you think it'll be like tomorrow? What about the price of living and economic status, economic situation? Is that going to get better? Absolutely not. Just as planned. That thing that happened in 2020 that many people think just disappeared and went away, I could rail about forever. I wrote a book on it. It's called System of the Beast. Look it up on Amazon. It's also a video I made on Rumble. If you catch my drift, System of the Beast. That was by design, and one of the things it was supposed to do is cripple the economy basically from that point on, and it has. Why do you think the housing market is insane? Since that year, right? All since 2020. Why do you think people die of all kind of very strange cancers and strange events? You know people who have. It's massive. Why do you think the housing market is completely unaffordable? Most people have no prayer of buying a home. None. They couldn't even begin to think about considering contemplating buying a home. If I hadn't gotten my house when I did at 2021, if it was even a little later, no, because most people can't. That's not going to get better. And yes, I know there's ebbs and flows to the housing market historically, and interest rates and all that. I get it, but look how much it has increased, three, four-fold in several years. Most people don't make enough. Most people don't have $500 if they had an emergency. I don't know how most people are living. I don't know. You go to the grocery store, you get a few sacks of food, few things fills up half a cart. You got 80, 90 bucks. It's like, what did I buy? What did I even buy? Every bill's gone up. Every single thing you can think of has gone up. Wages, not so much. For some people, not so much. That's another problem. You can't afford for one person to work anymore in most cases. So both people, if you're even together, have to work. And then guess what? The kids go to daycare all day long and they don't see the parents. And that whole parenting thing, that cycle perpetuates. It's a more reason why families are disjointed. All of this works together, guys. Every one of these pieces works together to create the cluster that we have today. So will the price of living go down? Will people's economic status improve? Will their quality of living improve? No, it won't. It will get worse. There will be more and more people without a nickel, two nickels to rub together, without a place to stay. Living together, families probably living together because you can't move on. I know individuals who work hard, have solid jobs, and are in their mid late 20s and they can't get out of their parents' house because you can't afford anything. That is going to get far worse, believe me. There's no way around it. Also, the way currency is done, very few people use cash. Almost nobody gets paid in cash or check anymore. Almost every transaction is basically so fully digital. And guess what? There are things like Amazon One and other things that are emerging where the day will come soon where all you have to do to pay for things is just wipe your hand over a scanner or something similar, something equivalent. People don't even touch money anymore. Cash, as Elon Musk recently said, it's got to go away. Cash doesn't make sense anymore. They have to get to that point, and we will, because then everything's tracked and traced, and there's no anonymity at all, and there's no anonymity with anything. You can look up anybody anywhere. You can't drop off the grid. You can't escape. Everybody is in this system already, simply by virtue of being alive and participating in the world. That's going to get worse. You won't be able to go to the restroom without people knowing it. You already kind of can't. So, along with that, technology, more and more helpless people who are glued to their phone in a fake world. I went by a school the other day, guys, in a town I live in, a town I love very much. I was down there taking a walk, having a pleasant day, and school was letting out, and I was driving by one of the high schools there, and there were just dozens and dozens of kids pouring out, pouring out. What do you think? Virtually every single one of them I saw did the second they walked out those doors, the second. Grab their phone, and they're walking down. And smoke's coming up off the phone practically because they just can't text fast enough. They've just missed so much from the time they were at school. Oblivious to cars coming, oblivious to everything. They're glued to their phones all the time. They live in a world that is not real. They don't get together anymore. People don't even hardly go on dates at times anymore because they can just do it on the phone. I can just talk to them on my phone. I don't need to leave. I don't need to get ready. I don't need to meet anybody. I don't need to put any work in. I just meet somebody on my phone. And get back to my point one about relationships. That's why cheating is so rampant. That's why nobody's satisfied. That phone's right there, and you can communicate with somebody anytime you want and as many people as you want. How are you supposed to have a functional society that way? You can't. How are you supposed to have functional relationships that way? You can't. Do you think suddenly the dating apps are going to disappear? Is suddenly social media going to go away? Are smartphones going to go away? No, they're going to continue to get more advanced. And more people glued to them. And that's all they know is life on that friggin' phone. I hate smartphones. Those are a major part of why things are as bad as they are. So technology is going to increase more and more ways to suck people in, to get them detached from real world, to create fantasy illusion worlds, which is basically what most people live in today. It's a matrix. It's a delusion. And lastly, artificial intelligence. I can't believe how fast this has changed. It's only been like the last 7, 8 months that you started to get those AI summaries at the top of search engines. Well, it's happened so rapidly I can't even wrap my mind around it. As Elon Musk said, AI is like unleashing the demons. It's exactly what he said. And he's the biggest part of it, or a really big part of it, and he knows how bad it is. As he also said, I hope the robots are nice to us. He's not joking. This is tomorrow, and it's today in a lot of ways. You, guys, I'm telling you right now, you are going to hear people in the very near future talking about their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, spouse, wife, whatever, as though they're a real person and they'll be an AI bot. There are more and more sites every day coming out where you can create your perfect partner who is an AI bot. You will hear people talking about how great Brad is. And Brad does this, and he always listens, and he's so caring, and he loves me, and he looks past all my faults, and he lets me talk to other guys. Well, Brad doesn't sound like a real person because he's not. He's an AI bot. Don't think this is happening? You don't really know what's happening in the world then. You're not aware. This is going to get worse. Worse and worse and worse. So, guys, these are just my thoughts out loud. What is tomorrow going to look like? Well, I'll tell you, they're going to look like today, but worse. It's going to look like what Jesus said, the days of Noah. And that's why he said his coming is like the days of Noah. People are eating, drinking, giving in marriage, going on with life as they think it's just normal. Nothing strange about it. And that's the way most people are. Everything I just described to you, most of the world doesn't see anything strange about this. Those with eyes to see do. And Jesus said the end, before his coming, it will be like the days of Noah. People just la, 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 going through life like nothing strange is happening when the world is a spiritual disaster, and then the end comes like a flood. So, friends, I think that we're living in the days of Noah. In case you can't tell, I think that all of this will continue to get worse, but I also don't think all of this is going to go on for decades and decades and decades and decades. I don't. I would never put a timetable on it. I would never put a date. But I'm telling you, by reading the tea leaves and seeing how fast it's gotten worse and how quickly certain things have changed, there's no way in my mind that this isn't heading towards a climax in the near future. My advice to you guys and everyone watching, get on the narrow path. Don't be like the rest of the world. Understand the issues. Understand how bad this is. Hide yourself in Christ. Get on the narrow path. Find your safety in Him. Find your hope and future in Him. Cling as close as possible so that you will be one who's raised up on the last day when He comes back. And you won't be caught by surprise like the rest of the world who lives in the days of Noah. So, guys, that's my thoughts. What will the world look like tomorrow? Let me know what you think. So I'll come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.